So here we are. This at the Nook is known as the messy Nook. The reason being is because most of the things that go in here are messy. I allow children to be able to explore how they wish, to transport, to feel, to add if they wish. But either way, the materials in here tend to be of a natural source. And that's how I prefer it in my classes. The more natural, the more connections they're going to make, and the more they're going to be of a natural process of learning. You can quite literally use anything. Nature, the great outdoors themselves, will offer you an abundance of things that you can use in your messy play. It doesn't have to be in a fancy table like this. It can be in a bowl, it can be on a tray. Even the odd things such as a big giant cement tray like these can be really helpful. And I'll show you one of those in a moment. So what can you add in a messy Nook? You could add nature-based materials, and so as you can see here, I have lots of things that you will find certainly at this time of year of autumn, where nature itself is offering you many things such as acorns, different types of pine cones, leaves, sticks, seed pods, and if you get really creative, you can even get a little nest with some feathers. You can also find dried flowers, can be really interesting to children, or even just some real flowers and plants you can add into the messy Nooks. Bits of wood and leaves, but also you can get material-based items. So things that you might find in crafting stores and things like that. Stones, there are an abundance of different types of stones that you can get. Here we have some stones here that are made into different shapes of wood and pine cone shapes, or you can get some crystals like these. Now, when we say authentic materials, we're talking about the things that you would generally use on an everyday basis. So let's go and have a look at the tray that we use also for the smaller babies who can't necessarily get up on a table. So when I said to you about a tray, this is what I was talking about. You can generally pick these up in most places, even online. It doesn't have to be really big. You can get tables for these so they are higher up, but as babies are quite small and they're not going to be standing, I would recommend just placing this on the floor. In the kitchen or outside or somewhere where it's easy to clean up and you don't mind a little bit of mess getting on the outside of the tray, you can put literally anything in these and they wash up beautifully. I have had all sorts in here: sand, water, seaweed, pasta, wet and dry. But babies can get into the tray and really have a full body experience. One of my favourite go-tos is rice. And it doesn't have to be coloured and all fancy like these ones. You can do plain rice if that's something that you prefer. Just buying a small bag of long grain rice and popping it into the tray and letting your baby to feel it, to hear it, to taste it if they want to. It's not going to do them any harm. And you might find it in their nappy later on. But if you wanted to colour it, you can do that as a natural base as well. Just don't use things like paint or things like vinegar and things like that, because if they do put it in their mouth, that's going to go into their body. I tend to use water and food colouring, so food-based colouring, which is safe for babies to ingest. And this colours up beautifully, and you can find an abundance of colours and different ranges. So these can be really safe for them to use. And as you can see, colours up well. This one here is red, so it's nice and bright. When we say authentic materials, a baby's favourite thing is materials that they find in the kitchen. It's the most wondrous place, because we're always telling them no in the kitchen because, you know, there are areas that aren't safe for them to play. But you can pick up anything from secondhand stores, pots and pans, wooden objects, or even metal whisks and spoons, however it is that you want them to play. but adding some simple items for them to play with can be really, really beneficial for them. Not only do they get to add an element of role play, but they also can have the idea of being able to be like you and cooking in the kitchen. It's great fun. With your messy tray, if you're doing food-based items, don't be afraid to add other things, real vegetables and fruits, and let them cut them and chew them and munch them and scrunch them and make loads of mess. Allow them to do this. This will also help them, if they haven't already started, in their weaning process, because it's sending lots of messages into their brain of what that vegetable or fruit or that food item that they're using feels like, sending messages to the brain and how they're going to chew them. And then when it comes to actually being able to eat them, they're going to be exercising those muscles and developing that motor skill, excuse me. Hopefully, these are very simple ways that you can do things at home, and they're easy to clean up. A hoover up of the rice is very simple. And if you can get a little bag to put the rice back into, if it's not too wet from dribble, then you can keep it for even up to 6 months. So to recap, messy play is important. And as we know, it's important for a well-rounded human being that we want for them in the future. Give it a try at home. Start small and simple and build your way up. And you know what? Just embrace the mess, because when it comes to weaning, they're going to get messy anyway. Share your ideas, help each other, and if you can, subscribe and like this lovely video so that others can see it too. Thank you so much for watching, and have fun.